Hey everybody, you're listening to the Wombo podcast. I'm Chip Monk, and with me as always the Mr. Gimpy.
What's going on, brother?
What's happening, dude?
Oh, dude, I'm just living in the virtual reality. You know how it is. Just for anyone who's watching the, YouTube version of our pod, I just want to warn you all, I'm trying out NVIDIA broadcasts. Always look at the camera mode, which is probably some uncanny valley shit, where it's making my eyes continually look at the camera. So we'll see how that goes.
It's a little unsettling. I don't know why they thought that people would want to be like stare deeply into their soul like the whole time.
Well, it's the whole eye contact thing, right? So when you get into broadcasting and stuff, they train you to always look at the camera, because the camera is your audience. You're not looking at.
I'm terrible at it. I have you lined up right with the camera, so like I'm looking at you through the camera, basically. Like you're like the camera's in my peripheral, but like I'm straight ahead.
What's funny, dude, is I've taken like broadcast courses, right?
Yeah,
because there's a point in time where I auditioned to be a local sports broadcaster, but besides the point. They're all like, you don't look at the camera enough. They're like, that's my one critique for you. They're like, you have high energy, you're funny, but you don't look at the camera enough. And I'm like, oh, okay, I can work on that. And I just never went back. Like, I just it was a shot in the dark. I was like, if I got it, it'd be cool. If not, whatever. And
it's just didn't want to look at the camera, bro.
Yeah, right. So then we're doing this podcast, and I stream, and I do other shit, and I'm like, but like with streaming, it's like when I talk to, like when I have like my camera on or whatever, I look directly at the camera.
Like, with it technology now, I don't even have to care with this new.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. I was like, I don't have to do this anymore, right?
Yeah,
so it's creepy, dude. Because like right here, I don't know if I'm looking at the camera or not for you, but I'm looking at my other monitor just completely.
Yeah.
I hope it's like just deeply staring in your eyes.
It really is.
It's
got like a Chucky doll, like where like they turn the head and the eyes are still like staring directly ahead.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah, it's great.
But yeah, man, other shit, like life's been happening, was it
You're telling me about the metaverse, bro?
Yeah. So
is the metaverse like Roman Reigns, dude?
Go on.
Like, I can't think of like anything else that people have thrown so much money into to like try and get over with people, and people are just not interested.
Hold on a sec. So you're talking about old Roman Reigns, right? Not current Roman Reigns? Okay.
Yeah, because it works finally. Like, if you spend enough time and enough money and energy, eventually like you will get over like a hump. Where you're like, that's what I'm saying is like
heel, and he has a badass intro, the whole bloodline thing. Did you watch Royal Rumble? I don't mean to derail us, but you watch it?
No, I just saw some of the highlights on the YouTubes.
The Sami Zayn shit. Just
they wanted him to commit murder, dude.
Storytelling,
that was weird.
Yeah, dude, it was great. It's masterclass in wrestling.
They're like, kill this man in the ring, prove that they wanted to jump him into a gang, dude. That was nuts.
It was great. It was great.
Roman's lost his damn mind
the entire time, dude. And it's honestly, when I was sick, I basically caught up on like what's happening week to week on the WWE. I haven't even looked at AEW, and Raw and SmackDown have been fantastic, and it's purely because of Roman Reigns, the Bloodline, and Sami Zayn, dude. It's must see TV, I swear. Even like the rest of my family who aren't like into wrestling, they know that I'll watch like the big pay-per-views basically, and they're okay with that. Like. And but they were all enthralled with the Bloodline storyline, right? Like my kids and I were doing the Sammy J handshake to each other, or Sammy and Jimmy handshake. It was fantastic. So, it's not a wrestling podcast, but if you guys are interested, you just YouTube the Sami Zayn and the Bloodline storyline and just be fucking enthralled. It was amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah, they always bring their A game, especially when they're like coming up towards WrestleMania.
True.
I used to watch it like once every like couple of years, like just WrestleMania. So I wasn't getting as much wrestling. And then I tried to it just got so much longer than it used to be. Like WrestleMania was always like an event.
It's 2 days now. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's like 2 days, dude. And I'm like, this is a lot of commitment. And then like the last one, I like watched a full one. And then like the next year, I was like, I can't do that again. I'm just going to wait a couple of years again. But I was like, kind of hooked again from that little WrestleMania. And I was like, all right, let me just like check online. And online, like people just put like all the best stuff now. So I'm like, I think I'm just gonna get my wrestling news online.
Yeah, there's a couple of things that I have to like. I haven't everything going on in AEW right now. I'm not super interested in. So I'll have to jump. I don't watch week to week, and I haven't watched a pay-per-view in a while. But I'm sure I'll jump back into that. But right now, WWE with WrestleMania is incredible. For New Japan, I always watch Wrestle Kingdom every year, and then I'll watch the tournament as well in August. So that's always good.
Kenny Omega's back from injury. Cody Rhodes is back from injury.
Well, he also had, it was injury because he had visa issues. So so he's back. Man. So Kenny's my favorite.
Visa's a real injury, dude.
I have
It's mostly just been about like Hangman Adam Page and Moxley.
Moxley.
Yeah, they're having a feud. They're having a tiff. They're having a go of it.
Yeah,
like
good.
Hangman legit got like knocked the F out in real life, like during like one of their matches. And then after that, then Moxley got knocked out the next match in,
kayfabe,
sure, yeah. If you want to say that, I wouldn't say that. He got knocked out. So then they've been building up this feud now. So that's kind of the only thing that's going on. I think they have like another pay-per-view in March or something.
Dope.
Yeah.
It's been fun. It's been fun, man.
The belt's held by like the mega heel, and like he's like, I'm only coming out for pay-per-views. He's treated like he's Hollywood Hogan in the 90s.
Yeah.
He's like, I am a AAA star. That's the only thing that matters. It's you peasants aren't worth seeing me on the weekly. You're gonna have to shell out the good money to see me. So he's doing that, and it kind of brings like the rest of the program a little bit to a halt when like your main superstar is holding up the belt. But it was like the same thing in WCW with Hollywood Hogan, where he's like, I want full creative say, blah blah blah, and it was all right, bro, we can't do a lot of other story stuff with like
fucking
like in our
champ.
A lot like in our hate it, like it's still kind of about the champ.
Speaking of Hogan.
I was like, what brings me back to the metaverse, dude, and Roman Reigns, dude. That was my point I was making.
Good full circle.
Yeah.
Honestly, Zuckerberg is a fucking idiot, but when it comes to the gaming space, he may figure it out, but I think that his head's too far up his own ass to really do it, and at this point he has to surprise me. Facebook bought the majority of the virtual reality devs who were making a stamp on this industry as a whole in VR. Ready at Dawn being the prime example, and I wanted to bring up the fact that Ready at Dawn announced that Echo VR, which is basically VR Blitzball, is shutting down servers in August. Well, why? No idea. It's since its launch, it's still been one of the biggest VR multiplayer games, and they have like outside looking in, there's no reason to end it. Do you think they're trying to make it like an exclusive or something that's going to like relaunch that's the thing. With the second? Facebook is backpedaling on their exclusivity deal because they realized that they have like the ultra portable market, right? But they want it all. So they've announced that they're going to be releasing PC VR stuff as well in line with the Quest stuff. So, which is fine, right? Which okay, I'm fine with that. But
that makes sense. I mean, Disney did the same thing when they started Disney Plus, where they started pulling like all their Netflix series that they had, like that Daredevil and like all this other stuff, and they put like on a 3-year contract, and then they're like, it was more for them as an experiment to see if like, hey, is there like a a taste, a little fever for this online? Let's see if we can get that. And then they're like, all right, this kind of proves the concept. Let's move all of our stuff into the digital space online. And that makes sense. That Facebook was like, all right, let's see what's out, or Meta. They're different companies, bro. They're not they're not the same, bro. Meta was like, all right, let's see if people want this. So two separate legal entities.
It doesn't make sense that they're ending what's next? They're going to shut down Population 1? Population 1 is one of the other super popular VR games that has been popular since day one and still is racking in the players, It doesn't why but
it makes sense, man. This is what Steam did as well. Like when they launched Steam Online, they put Half-Life 2 behind it. It's like literally behind like the paywall within their own ecosystem.
Yes.
Yeah, they're like, you can't get this game anywhere else. You have to get it through Steam.
No,
and then people.
You could buy it in store, but yes, you needed to install Steam to get to.
Yeah, you could buy the disc and you had to have Steam to get it. Always online verification of who you are, and I was the only one who was upset. I was like, this is bullshit. I like my disc. I don't have good internet. I was like one of the few holdouts, and now I'm like the opposite. Like when Microsoft was like, "Yeah, our next system's going to be online only," I was like, "Yeah, thank God, dude." And everyone else was like, "No, this is bullshit. What if I don't have good internet? I live in the middle of nowhere." I was like, "It sucks to suck, noob." And that was it, man. I was like, "You guys are the ones making the games worse for everybody else online." They're the one I'm in bronze.
Shout out right? Shout out Thrill Seeker. Everyone like the biggest VR YouTuber, and he made a very in-depth video about what's going on with Echo VR. So check that out if anyone who listening hasn't. There's a movement.
You want that Beat Saber too,
here's
bro?
The thing. They've been they bought Beat Saber a while back. But
I'm saying it's gonna be only on Meta's launcher, bro.
Right. There's a. What was I gonna say? Threw me off. Oh, there's a fantastic video by Thrill Seeker. So apparently the lead dev and a lot of people who worked on Echo VR moved on to the studio that made Gorilla Tag. So
okay,
the general consensus and thought in that video is that the people left at Ready at Dawn, the devs who made Echo VR, are no longer the people who actually worked on the game. So to actually update it and do other things, they have no idea. You know, like the lead developer's gone, lead programmer's gone. It's like they're probably looking at code going, I don't know what this does. You know, so it's probably easier to like make something new than to continue it on. But you could just leave it up and just throw cosmetics out probably for the next infinite lifetime. And I think the biggest thing is they had LAN events coming up in the pro scene, so there's it's just ending. So
I think people would be more upset though if they did that. Like if they kept like cosmetics and stuff, and then like they're ready to launch number 2. Like they put a skeleton crew just for cosmetics, and then like one day they're like, and we're closing it down. People would be like, what the fuck, bro? I've been spending all this money, and now you guys are shutting it down. It's like, yeah, we are. I think that leaves a worse taste in people's mouths of like, and then it also makes it more of like a zombified game of people being like, you have to keep this up. Think of all the money and support we've given. You have to keep going. And then they're like, yeah, all right, I guess we probably owe something to the community now. Whereas this is like a clean separation. It's unfortunate. I don't know.
It's just weird that they announced all of this support for the coming year and then going, oh yeah, and then 2 weeks later, wait, what is it, February? So it's like 4 weeks later, you go, yeah, we're gonna shut this down. That part's weird to me. So I think Zuck's bleeding funds and he's trying to,
follow the money.
Something.
Yeah,
I don't know, man, but it sucks. But this is I think VR's first hurdle, because if you remember. Like traditional PC gaming, early 2000s, when servers would shut down, what did the fans do? They captured network packets, they made their own custom servers, and you could play this infinitely, right? There's Lineage 2 custom servers, there's other MMOs that have completely died, have been brought back to life. Phantasy Star Online has had custom servers going since the fucking Dreamcast died.
Sega Dreamcast.
You can still play the original PSO using your Sega Dreamcast right now in 2023 with PC players because of the fans. So
you said we need to go get some Sega Dreamcast, dude.
Oh, dude, I got 2 right here. But
you're already ready, dude.
I think this is the test for how strong the VR community is, and I'm actually like, it sucks that game's ending. I really like the game. It has a very hard learning curve, and like I was the first person in VR to get my VR legs. Like my buddy Sir Trek had VR before anyone I knew. But him being the only one, he didn't outside of getting single player games, he had no real reason to expand further because he wants to play with friends, which is understandable. But I expanded more, and then I did the multiplayer stuff, so I got my VR legs pretty quickly. I think playing, Quake 1 in VR really helped with that, because when you're just running and bunny hopping and shit, you can't just vomit the entire time, but your body eventually has to get to it.
That's right.
So, but
it's like flying a jet.
Yeah, but I only had probably 2 or 3 sessions myself, 1 session with friends, including Fart Dead, shout out. And it was super fun. I loved it. I absolutely had a blast. It's it's just a learning curve, and my own buddies who don't have like a good VR space to continue it playing, where they're like, yeah, I don't feel like moving. I'm like, come on, man. I guess their jobs are physical. My job, I sit at a computer all day, so I want to move. So it's a difference. But all those Echo VR players, I feel for you. My heart goes out. For me personally, like the Unreal Tournament server's shutting down, like the master server. It's one of those things where I'm like, I haven't played the game in 3 years now. Keep in mind, this is Unreal Tournament 99, so you can tell how much I love it if I haven't played it in 3 years and it's 2023. Yeah. But I know that game, like despite the master servers being dead, I know that the game will live on because of the fans and the PC fans, right?
Yeah. I mean, we just saw all this stuff too with it was the EA that just shut down a bunch of like their legacy servers for a lot of their games, and people were extremely upset. Yeah, Ubisoft as well. They did some as well, like all their older. Like they closed off like a whole platform. Yeah. They're like, you're done. It's over. And people were like, are you serious right now? They're like, you own nothing in the future. Welcome.
Right.
And you're be happy about it.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I think that kind of leads me. So VR community, this is our time to make your voices heard. The people who know how to do like network packet stuff and to hopefully cobble together some sort of master server so the Echo community can still play. The fact that the game is,
I feel like it's PC not VR, that crazy of a concept, right? I feel like we could probably make like an open source version of this game in VR.
I'm sure.
You know what I'm saying? Sure. Like, why we caring? Why we sucking on the teat of meta, bro? There's a bunch of game devs in here. Just
it's already made, it's already made. That's why.
It's way easier to be like, all right, how can we pirate this than to be like, how can we create this?
But, the game's on PC VR already. It already has cross-platform compatibility with the Quest. Like, it's probably one of the first games to like kind of really offer this. So not only for history, but if you guys want to still play it, like VR community, this is our time. Just prove how much we can do. If
pirating this game
if
service.
the VR community could make Star Wars Battlefront within contractors, including vehicle support in a game that doesn't have it, I have all the faith in the world that she can.
Combo Wombo does not support crime, but if you were going to do it, this is the kind of petty crimes I'm into.
Yeah, right. But shifting back, man, I think this goes to say, Chip hit it on the head. Chip and I are both developers,
And we do some stuff sometimes.
We do some stuff every now and then. And Chip, man, this man has been an inspiration to me for the past, for a while, but especially the last couple of weeks with his current project.
You're an inspiration to me, bro. I'm turning around on you, bro.
But dude, let's hear your progress, man, on your platformer.
Bro, it has been a week. I spent probably like 12 hours just like 3D modeling the character. At first, I like poured it in. Like I'm not ashamed to admit. I went to like Sketchfab or something. I download like a Mario character. I'm like, all right, let me just get this Mario in here and see how this works. And then like later on, like I'll just like make my own or reskin this. I'll do whatever I have to do. So I started playing around with that. And then like I looked at the model. And like I've done enough 3D modeling where I just looked at this and I was like, this was like sculpted for show only. Like this thing's fucking useless. I can't use this at all. And I was like, all right, fuck, I need to start from the ground up. So I just like 3D modeled like a whole character. And then like I did use like the face of like a different character from like the K-Cat pack. This is like an open source, like, Domain Zero or whatever 3D artist that's out there. I wanted to just use his characters, but like I couldn't get generic animations to work in Unity. I don't know enough. I got them working like the animations in Blender. Then when I was putting them in like the non-linear animation editor strip, like the NLA strip, and porting those over, like it just was not working, and I did not know how to fix it. It was like I couldn't find anything, and then like the videos I did see, like they just worked. People would just like port it over, and they're like, "Oh, you click this button, and now it's fine." And I'm like, I do that, and it is not just fine. Like things have gone terribly south. It is because I've only ever used like humanoid characters. So I was like, I'm just going to make a humanoid character. Fuck it. So then I had to like re-3D model like a humanoid character. I spent like a whole day doing that. It came out all right. I textured it. I used a Substance Painter. I bought that before they went to like a subscription model with Adobe. Yep. Adobe bought them up and they're like, hey, now you can pay us just monthly. And I was like, here's $300. Leave me alone. I never want to see this shit again. So yeah, I bought that the last time you could buy it, which was I think like 2 years ago. You can no longer buy this or own it. You own nothing and be happy.
Piracy. Go on. Some subliminal messages.
hit the high seas, mateys.
Right.
Yeah. So 3D model texture characters. I could start working on tutorial level. I have like the timeline. Got our boy James in there doing some voice work for that. I sent you some lines. I was like,
Yep.
maybe you could hit those up at some point.
Yeah.
I'm in no rush. Like I was like, I found like you tend to find excuses to stop or hard stop like a project. And for me, I was like, oh, I can't even work on this game anymore until the rest of this voice work's done. And I was like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? There's like all kinds of shit you can be doing. So I started like just working on like other levels. And then at some point, like I realized I broke the character rig after making it. So he was like no longer receiving damage, or at least like the animation wasn't playing for that. Uh-huh. And I was like, that was also kind of like a hard stop for me like last night. And then I was just like, who cares? You've remade this character rig from the ground up like twice. You've like done this like 4 or 5 times now of like just like figuring out things. Like just focus on making the levels, dude. Like you can worry about like the damage later on. That's a B problem at this point. Focus on like what you're doing. So I made like stages 4 and 5. 1, 2, and 3 were already done. 4 and 5 I went like a little bit different direction because I found like there's just like a straight up substance painter material importer for Unity, dude. It's I don't know. It's so yeah,
streamlined.
Just streamline it, dude. Yeah, just a lot of boring shit, dude. And then like you show it to people. I showed it to a few people, and like they're not really impressed because like it works the way a video game should work. If that makes sense, I don't know. It's because you have like so much of a connection to it. Like, it's basically like showing somebody like a really funny YouTube video that you found. And then they like don't laugh, and you're like, "Man, this is weird. This is awkward." Because I thought it was funny as hell.
I remember. Do you remember the game Gish from like early 2000s, made by Edmund McMullen? It was the first game that really put him on the map.
Yeah, he had a few like on Newgrounds and stuff too. Like a little bit
but like I mean, like
stuff.
wider industry as a whole, Gish was like it was like one of the first big indie games that won like the Indie Spirit Award and a bunch of shit, and he got a lot of stuff. So that game had a really interesting like inertia platforming thing. So you were like a tarball character, and he held down, and then he went up, and then he used his like momentum to shoot himself up. Right, he had weight to him, and it was very interesting. I thought that was a very interesting mechanic. So a while back, I was like, oh, I can make like a little funny clown character, right, with like a big butt, and have like his butt do that,
a badonk.
Yeah. Just like a quick little comedy game, it's mainly to make myself laugh and just to see how I could do that. And it took 4 or 5 days of me getting this feel correct, right, to get this thing going. And like, you know what? Knuckles Chaotix had the same kind of momentum kind of system, So when I finally got this done, right, and this is a point where, I think I was still living at home with my parents, so this is a while back, and after 4 or 5 days of just fucking coding, and I was using my parents' computer, so I'm, like my eyes are bleeding and shit from just staring at the screen for so long. And
the NVIDIA eyeballs didn't get invented yet.
Exactly. So I got it. And I made like a level where you're saving people from a burning building, and but you're using the cloud to like jump up and get to the top of the building to save everyone, and then you jumped and then you flipped on your head to like float down with everybody. So the more people you got, the heavier it got, but you jumped higher. You know what I mean? So yeah. So and everyone was being stored in the cloud's butt, basically.
Sure.
So
it's like a clown car, but in his butt.
Exactly. How old? I was like, but anyway, that was the game.
I got
so I got that done. I made that, and I was real happy with it. I go to show like my sister, my parents. They're all like, "Is that it?" I'm like, "The fuck," So,
like, that's it. Huh? You're like,
yeah. So
it really is it.
I completely understand, dude. That's why I love showing other devs, because they know the work you put into it. So Yeah. I think that's like one of the biggest disconnects is you don't have that. They don't have the base knowledge to know exactly how much work you put into it. It's like back in the day when you show people like animations you did. That your animation, was probably like let's just say like 10 seconds long, right? They're like, oh, that was so short. Why don't you make it longer? Do you know how much work it takes to make a long animation? So
it's forever.
Yeah.
I think like most crafts, I feel like we really don't appreciate all the stuff, like just to be in existence with things. Like I think like just like sitting in a chair, people don't appreciate like the amount of like work it goes into like making a chair and getting it out to like people, or like when you go to the store and there's like, you know, the shelves are full of stuff. You're like, you don't really appreciate like the logistics and like what it takes. Like I saw like the cookies, I guess like there have been like a worker strike at some point. So there's like a shortage of them coming. And like in the store, there was like a little placard like, hey man, there might be some shortages of these supplies, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I might as well get two then. Like, but like, you don't really appreciate it until like it inconveniences like your life of like, you know, there's literally thousands of people, lots of like logistics supply chain people, like just to get things to like a store that was like built by other people, man. It's like it's a whole process. It's an army of ants, dude. And like, how often do you even look at like an ant colony if you walk by it? You don't even spare it a glance, you know?
That's true. We got a intruder on the podcast here. My daughter showed up, but so I think at this point,
call it.
At this point, we call it.
We're an army of ants. Everything you do is insignificant to everybody else, but you know it still matters to you. Combo Wombo podcast. We out.
We out. We'll be back next month. Thanks everybody.
Like, share, subscribe. We out. Peace.